Hello, my name is Kerry Martell. I'm over here at RVLivingGuide.com, the author, and I'm going to give you some tips and reasons why full-time RV living might be a great way for you as a young person to save some money. Now, some people, when they get a little bit of wealth, they want to buy a nice big house. And that can be cool. I had a house, back in the day. I bought it for like $190,000. It's a two-story house, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, nice backyard, right outside of Austin, Texas. Pretty good deal. And it was okay, it was nice. But there are certain disadvantages to having a house compared to living a more nomadic life. And this is why ultimately I've drifted toward a more nomadic life as a digital nomad RVer full-time, traveling around. I've lived out of camper van, RV, Class C RV, and now I'm in a 34-foot Airstream trailer, and I haul it with my Ford F-350 truck. What led me to this lifestyle is that first, I do a lot of traveling. I was working as a consultant before COVID, traveling around sometimes and needing to be in a location for a long period of time. And it just made more sense to be able to have the ability to boondock. It's called boondocking when you're camped in a camper and you're not connected to shore power at a traditional like RV site. You're basically just living off of whatever electrical power you've got in your trailer and the water, the internal plumbing, and all that jazz. So that's called boondocking. I did a lot of boondocking before I started. Before I bought this Airstream trailer, and now because I have the Airstream trailer, I still can boondock, but it's a lot harder to do it, so I generally don't bother. I just get to a traditional RV site and usually try to find the cheapest one I can in the area. But while I was doing a lot of consulting, traveling around, it's a very cheap way. It costs zero money to go park, and hang out in a parking lot at like a Walmart or Planet Fitness, and or even just hang out by some neighborhood city park where there's free parking, which is what I like to do in Los Angeles. It was either you go to the very industrial areas over in the ghetto sections of town, or you go to a nice suburb area, which isn't in like Santa Monica or anything, but that is in an area like Oxnard, as an example, and go hang out by a park there. I lived at a park in Oxnard for months while I was in Los Angeles area, and it's technically outside of LA city limits, but it's close enough that it's just like a 20-minute drive to go over to LA. So that was a great economical way to be in that area and to do the work that I needed to do and not have to pay ridiculous hotel fees, Airbnb fees. It's just very expensive to do that. So that was a lot more economical. I was able to save a lot of money that I was able to put into my businesses and make them successful. So that's what led me to the lifestyle. There's another thing that led me to this lifestyle, and this might be the most important thing. When I was a kid, I used to joke about how I was going to grow up and become a drifter. I was just going to drift around the country, going from place to place and having adventures. And I basically did that, and I sort of accidentally came into it as a young man. I got out of the military and I went to school, and I bounced around the country a lot on my path of being an entrepreneur and trying to make myself, figure out how to make success in life. And I've lived in so many different cities, so many places, that now I'm kind of this person that it's really hard for me to stay in one fixed location. When I would get too bored of something, I want to be able to move on, have the freedom to do that. And you can't really do that if you've got a house. You can't. This is where you live. So I just sort of become a nomad as a consequence of that need to have adventures and be able to have the freedom to go place to place. And for better or worse, my romantic relationships haven't turned into marriage and children. And it's not until I do settle down and have a family that I'm gonna get another house. I just don't see the point. I probably have a better chance of finding someone to settle down with, being able to go to different cities and try to figure out to find a high quality woman who matches me and I can have a family with. It's pretty hard to find these days a woman who even wants to get married in the first place. So these are the reasons why I came into full-time RV living. Some of the stuff might be relevant for you as well. I've been all over. I've been East Coast to West Coast, spent a lot of time in the South. Probably more than I care, because I'm not really a super fan of the desert personally, but I've spent years in the desert, and I'm kind of done with that. Now I'm currently over on the West Coast, currently in my home state of Oregon actually, and I'm getting back into it. I really like that I can just go down to a mini mart and get chicken and gizzards, which I've dreamed about that since I was a young man when I first joined the military. Stopped living in Oregon, and pretty much nowhere else they serve fried chicken gizzards and hearts at mini marts, and they still do it here in Oregon, and whoo-wee, I love that shit. So yeah, it's a great lifestyle. It really is, if you're the right person. If you're somebody who values owning a home in a fixed location and needs a lot of space, this might not be great for you. But I personally, I like to think of this as, being my own little spaceship in a way. I've always viewed it as kind of a little spaceship, or maybe a covered wagon of sorts, and I'm just, an adventurer, and I'm going around and going different places, meeting different people, seeing a lot of stuff I wouldn't otherwise see, and getting a real appreciation for what is America. That's how I view it, and that's how I like it. So it's cool. So I hope you got something out of this video. And it definitely is a cheaper way to live. If you've got solar panels, you don't need to have shore power. If you've got a powerful enough inverter, good enough battery backup system, you can definitely do it. I used to play PlayStation 4 in my camper van off my solar power and use my computer all day and do blogging, use my phone as a hotspot. It's totally doable. It's completely doable. You can work remotely, make money, travel. Perfect example. So if this appeals to you, start the lifestyle. I'm Kerry Martell, the writer and host of RVLivingGuide.com. Thank you so much. Got any comments, questions? Let me know in the video description below. The comment section below the video description, I should say. And like and subscribe. Thanks so much.